The Arbeloa era kicks off in truly humiliating fashion, whilst Mane completes the three-peat over Salah to set up an insane AFCON final, and Robert Sanchez drops a PTSD-inducing disaster. This is DMAC Daily. 2026 might just be a generational year for the Madrid hate watchers. I know Xabi Alonso is certainly eating good right now. I was hoping to shift my attention away from this club for today's episode, but unfortunately this prestigious footballing institution just had to pull off a disaster class for the ages. Knocked out in the Copa del Rey round of 16 to second-tier relegation battlers Albacete, a squad valued at 14 million euros, which is approximately 108 times less than that of the almighty Los Blancos. And spare me the excuse, Madridsters, of the fact that they played their B team. You still had the likes of Vini Jr., Valverde, Goulet, and over 100 million euros worth of wonder kid recruits in that starting 11 today, plus Carvajal, Alaba, and Camavinga coming off the bench. That is inexcusable, embarrassing stuff. Is this Madrid or Man United? I can't tell the difference at this point. I didn't think it was possible for a Madrid figure to accumulate more Oradet than Gula this past week, but Professor Arbeloa, I was unfamiliar with your game, or lack of. Now, in fairness to the Spaniard, he's just been thrown in the deep end. I wasn't expecting miracles within 2 days, but come on, man. Copping 3 goals, outplayed and eliminated by a team that, with all due respect, shouldn't be anywhere near them. Vinny Jr., you said you'll do it 10x if you have to. Boy, has that quote aged poorly. If I were Perez, maybe I'd hold off on giving him a new bumper contract, although knowing the 79-year-old, he'll probably award him purely for Alonso's demise. I can only imagine the hostility that awaits this team on Saturday at the Bernabeu, because the fans are outraged. They're crashing out right now. Granted, I've admittedly been critical of Alonso's tenure at times with Madrid. I thought his in-game management and substitutions were worthy of legitimate criticism in the past, but this evening's calamity has kind of vindicated Alonso here. Like, how can you implement a disciplined mentality of any sort with this Madrid team? It's very clear that this crop of players has an unparalleled entitlement problem. Football's a strange old game though, so it's impossible to accurately predict what's ahead for this club, but on paper, Madrid's trajectory is not looking great. Shifting gears to AFCON, and you thought Jamie Carragher was taunting Mo Salah with his comments, but it's actually another former Red who has been consistently inflicting pain upon the Egyptian king for years now, the one and only Sadio Mane. The first chapter was written at the 2021 AFCON final in Yaoundé. Salah would meet his Liverpool teammate in Sadio Mane and the Senegalese national team. Mane missed a penalty in regular time that day, but spectacularly redeemed himself by scoring the decisive spot kick in the shootout to deliver Senegal's first AFCON title. Heartbreak from Mo Salah. Then barely 6 weeks later came the second blow, the 2022 World Cup qualifying playoff, a rematch, Egypt versus Senegal. In a tense 2-legged affair, the tie would once again be separated by penalties. Mo Salah then shockingly skied his spot kick, and remarkably, Sadio Mane scored the match winner from 12 yards again to send Egypt packing. In the space of 2 months, Egypt had lost an AFCON final and a spot in the World Cup, both at the hands, or feet rather, of Senegal's talisman. But this historic rivalry still had a third and final act. 33-year-old Salah versus 33-year-old Mane as their two nations met in the AFCON semi-final. And of course, the script was written that the match would be separated by Sadio Mane's lone strike from outside the box, the three-peat of jubilation for the Lions of Teranga and their generational star, a three-peat of traumatic defeats for the Pharaohs. This sport can be as beautiful as it can be cruel at times. I can only imagine how painful this is for Salah, especially in the midst of his club career drama. This was a timely escape and his lifelong dream to lift silverware for his beloved country, and sadly for his sake, a moment of magic from his dear friend / international rival has shattered that dream. Elsewhere, AFCON's host nation Morocco have prevailed in another immensely competitive semi-final against Nigeria, advancing via penalties to reach their first AFCON final in 50 years. Yassine Bonu with another legendary legendary display when his country needed him most, 2 seismic saves in the shootout. They might have to build this man a statue at this point. Collectively, Morocco's rise has been nothing short of spectacular these last 4 years. It was fitting that on home soil they'd continue to make history. Can they get over the line against Senegal? What a blockbuster that's set to be. Just quickly on Nigeria though, and what a tournament they've had. Off the back of such a heartbreaking World Cup exit, this group of players has come together and performed exceptionally well. Moving back to club football, and the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg between Chelsea and Arsenal proved to be an eventful one. Arsenal prevailing 3-2 at the Bridge. Hardly a surprising result, all things considered. When I looked at Chelsea's lineup, I was fairly confident they were going to lose that game. It was always going to be a tall order without our star boy, Malo Gusto. No, but there were a lot of absentees against a strong Arsenal team, plus Gyökeres. Just kidding, Arsenal fans. I'm actually one of the few people here that hasn't completely given up on him yet. Beyond the goal and assist today, I thought the Swede caused all sorts, although that's hardly a flex with this Chelsea backline, because they're objectively a shambles. Fofana at left centre-back was diabolical. That man cannot play on the left side in a back four, and don't even get me started on Rob Sanchez's display. It felt like I time-travelled back to 2024. There were positives though. The GOAT of Argentina came off the bench and changed the game. Esteval was lively throughout, and the tie is still technically within reach. Coming from 2 goals down twice too shows that they're not devoid of a fighting spirit. Although, considering Arsenal are unbeaten in their last 9 games against Chelsea now, I think they're probably going to advance. You know, I cop a lot of flack from Arsenal fans online because I slander them frequently, that I'm biased and just hate them. And yeah, I'll admit it, I do despise Arsenal. I despise how good this team is. I despise the fact that your set pieces may as well be penalties. They're so deadly. I despise how every year you get better whilst Chelsea have spent like 1.5 billion in a few years and are still a mess. I despise that you come away from Stamford Bridge with a victory yet are somewhat let down with the performance. I miss the old days when Arsenal were everyone's favorite punching bag, when they consistently got bullied. So I will continue rejoicing in any of Arsenal's shortcomings. Not that it happens often nowadays, but in saying that, some of the club's online fans are so deeply unserious. Like, any valid criticism of Arsenal, such as the Martinelli situation for instance, is deemed a personal attack. They gotta chill out with the victim complex. Shifting gears to Italian football, and a great evening for Inter Milan in the Serie A title race as homegrown talent Pio Esposito bagged a late winner against Lecce, his first league goal at the San Siro, hitting that iconic celly in front of the home fans and picking up the Man of the Match award. They now sit 6 points clear at the top as Napoli dropped more points at home, this time to Parma. That's 3 draws on the bounce now. It's very clear the injury absentees have really hurt this side. Meanwhile, you look at Inter and they have so many individuals they can rely on, particularly in that forward line with Martinez, Thuram, Boni and Esposito. I know this title race has been taking twists every single match day, but I think Inter have really stepped up of late. 7 wins, 1 draw in their last 8 Serie A matches. Kivu's team look the real deal. Meanwhile, in Germany, and surprise, surprise, Bayern continue their farming spree, coming from behind to defeat Köln 3-1. That's 66 goals in 17 league games. Company's side have now also made the best start to a campaign in Bundesliga history, with invincible status still intact. Despite not scoring today, Harry Kane alone has 24 goal involvements this season. For context, 8 clubs in this division have scored less than 24 goals. This is truly unprecedented levels of farming. Also, shout out to Serge Gnabry. His goal today was one of the best I've seen all season. It's pure genius, from the first touch to then a bounce shot from an impossible angle to beat the keeper. Shades of Mesut Ozil with that creative finish, whilst Lennart Karl managed to redeem himself to the Bayern fanbase, closing out the show with a composed finish. In other Bundesliga matches, rising star Zenan Picinovic came in clutch for Wolfsburg once again, scoring the match winner at home against St. Pauli, his 5th in 3 games now. Hoffenheim battered Borussia Mönchengladbach 5-1, with Andre Krameric's hat-trick propelling them into European places, whilst Leipzig made light work of Freiburg to retake 3rd spot in the table. Staying in Europe, and Dutch giants Ajax have suffered another devastating defeat, this time in the cup away at AZ Alkmaar, being hit for 6. The downfall of this team needs to be studied. Maybe I'll have to make a vid on their demise in the future, but it was all about Troy Parrott today, scoring a classy hat-trick and grabbing himself an assist too. The Irish hero is having himself quite the campaign. We all know about his international heroics, but his numbers for AZ in the 25-26 season have been seriously impressive. 23 goal involvements in 24 games. Anyways, guys, that's all for today's DMAC Daily. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time.